Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. Welcome to another Market Open stream. Today, got to talk about what happened last night. Did Silvergate cause a whole bunch of people to get wrecked last night? What triggered a $200 million worth of liquidation? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what's going on with the markets today. What is happening with crypto overall and everything else. So let's do this. Welcome, guys. 2 minutes away from market open, from the bell. And you can see that is one tremendous drop right there, right? Well, when you zoom in. It does look tremendous. When you zoom out, you realize, well, we had that before. But, you know, what happened here? What caused this to happen? And last night, I gave some theories. But this morning, I see on CNBC, front page, talking about fallout from Silvergate. Okay, that's a nice photo, by the way. I don't know where that got that from, but CNBC is claiming that what happened is due to Silvergate. And of course, yesterday, Silvergate, well, it doesn't show anymore. Right now, they're about to open in a green, but yesterday they had a 57% drop. 57%. And that's because they said, okay, we're not going to publish our annual report because it's so bad. We need more time to calculate the losses. And regulators may be looking at us soon. I mean, they're upfront about it. They disclosed it. So who do they mean by regulators? Well, not just the CFTC or SEC, but like the Department of Justice. Okay, so they're actually looking at criminal things. So that's pretty bad. Oh, you can see the market bell just rung, so they have popped up a little bit. But again, they have to go up over 100% to make up for what was lost yesterday. And I don't think that's going to happen, right? And after that bombshell of a release, Coinbase, Galaxy Digital, Gemini, everyone ditched Silvergate. They all had a relationship with Silvergate, and they all said, nope, no more. They're finding different banking partners. Okay, so that's what happened. Now, was Silvergate really behind what we saw yesterday, right? Because obviously it was like middle of the night. This was way past Silvergate or the stock market being closed, right? So was it really Silvergate? You know what? It's hard to say. You know, who knows what kind of exposure Silvergate will bring to some of these other crypto projects. These are the big ones that abandoned, but there may be smaller ones, right? And maybe Silvergate had to abandon certain projects or certain loans and had to liquidate or had to, you know, they had to force sell, right? We don't know. We don't know if they are exactly the reason, but there is another reason. There's actually a couple reasons. The other reason I talked about last night was MtGox. We are roughly 1 week away, exactly 1 week away from distribution or repayment of funds, okay, to the creditors. Now, most of the creditors, especially the big ones, are opting to take everything in Bitcoin, but there are still some that's opting to take in fiat, right? So does this have something to do with it? Is it MtGox possibly selling off some crypto ahead of time to make some funds so that they can give it back? Quite possibly, right? So we are 1 week away. Now people are speculating, is this going to cause the market to fall like it did before? This trustee, right, really didn't know what he was doing before and sold off a ton of Bitcoin back in 2018, and many people argue that's why we fell to 3,000. We were hovering at 6,000 for a very long time, and then boom, down to 3,000. And there's been correlations of when he was selling, and that last one was also like right around when he was selling a lot. So this time around, he does not need to be selling all that much because, again, most people are opting to receive Bitcoin rather than cash. And that is why there's many people that think, including banks, that think that the repayments are unlikely to destabilize Bitcoin, but can cause short-term volatility, right? Because there will be some selling, and some people that do opt to get Bitcoin may be selling too, right? So there will be a little bit of volatility, probably, but is it likely to destabilize Bitcoin altogether like what happened in 2018? Probably not, right? But maybe a combination, maybe the combination of the two, right? Something happened yesterday that caused this, okay? I mean, just look at it. Right afterwards, right beforehand, basically no liquidations. And then you have $200 million worth of longs liquidated. It almost seems like it was done on purpose just to wipe out the longs, right? I mean, there's really nothing before or afterwards, just that. So, if FTX was around, I would say, hey, did SBF just do it on purpose just to wipe out all the longs and counter trade the market? But, you know, FTX is not around anymore. unless SBF sitting in his parents' basement triggered it somehow with some funds that he didn't disclose. I don't know. But this almost seems like it was done on purpose. But here's the thing. Here's the good thing out of this. So this is looking at the futures perpetual funding rate. Okay, so this measures if there's a premium on the long side or the negative side. Okay, and right now, you could see it. You could see it on the very right hand side toward the bottom. You could see the funding rate has turned negative. That means it's actually really cheap to go long because of this long liquidation, right? So what does that mean? Well, look at the previous times. This goes all the way back to the beginning of the year. All the previous times when the funding rate turned red, what happened afterwards? Well, you could see we had some pretty good climbs afterwards, right, for Bitcoin. So could this be a giant bear trap? Could this also be done on purpose to make people think that Bitcoin is about to fall, but when in reality, we are actually about to pump to a new high? Well, it happened in February, just 2 weeks prior, we saw something like that happen. Bitcoin fell down to nearly 21,000, and then boom, we shot up to 25,000, right? And it happened in January also. So that's the good thing. Does not necessarily mean that what we saw yesterday was bad. In fact, it could be a giant bear trap to trap the bears, to open their shorts, okay, their leveraged shorts, only to be short squeezed in the future and maybe pumping us up to $30,000. That's a possibility. That is definitely a possibility. And if you're still looking at what's happening now versus, say, previous cycles like 2013, did yesterday invalidate things? No. In fact, it made things more similar. Because in 2019, before we started recovering upwards, you could see that higher HH, right? We actually fell down, right? You would not notice it unless you lived through it or you're zooming in, right? But look at it. We had a lower high and a higher high, right? And both times, Bitcoin fell down, hit that trend line, right? And eventually, it broke out and continued forward, right? And look at what has happened right now. Same thing. We had a lower high and a higher high, both times falling. Does that mean we are getting ready to head higher, just like 2019, and just like everything else I've just said, right? This bear trap and all. It's still looking good. It's still looking good. Very good. Very good indeed. So here's another view of it. That increasing, trend line, the bottom, higher lows, right? And if we break through that 25.2, which is also a very important resistance, not because we couldn't break it a couple of times, but it's also one of the moving averages. So if we break through, can we see something like this? Yes. Yes. Very, very possible. All right. So that's what I want to lead with. Also, there's a few other things I kind of skipped over what's happening in the U.S. market right now, but you can see U.S. market is actually green. And yesterday was very, very green. And why is that? Unfortunately, only like crypto-related stocks went down. But today is also green, right? And that's because we actually had one Fed Bostic, that was actually pretty dovish, okay? And he's speaking again, and two other Feds are speaking. I still don't get why we need to have so many Feds talking. We only need Powell to talk. He's the most important person, right? We have all these Fed governors and presidents around the states. I get it. They want to feel important too, but there's really no need for them to speak. Like Bullard is just super hawkish and wants to just bring the market down, right? But at least yesterday we got someone that said, okay, we're on the right path, 25 basis points, we're looking good. Let's just continue going forward, right? So we'll see. Today we have a few more speakers. We'll see if they affect the market at all, right? But in the meantime, there are a lot of investors that are dying to come in, a lot of cash on the side. And according to Bank of America, investors pour the most into cash since COVID. So there's a ton of cash on the sidelines waiting to enter the market, right? Still a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, right? But as more and more investors come to realize how bad our financial systems are, right? This whole premise of debt ceiling and borrowing through issuing bonds and printing money, right? The more investors learn about that, the more they turn to Bitcoin and crypto. But there's a ton of money. So that's why this next bull run could be the biggest one we have ever seen because of it. There's trillions sitting on the sidelines in cash waiting to come in. Lastly, I saw this, as some of you guys already mentioned it. Celsius, I did not know this. I missed this. But Celsius was bought out by some company called Nova Wolf Digital Management. Okay, so this actually happened just a few weeks ago. I was wondering what's going on with Celsius, right? Now, because this buyout, they no longer need to go through the bankruptcy process, so they will be trying to give back funds. Now, people that have stored crypto in Celsius custody, I believe you can withdraw already. People have said they have, right? Now, for everyone else, if you have a claim less than $5,000, you're eligible for only 70% of your claim paid out in BTC, ETH, or USDC, but that's still 70%. But if you're above 5,000, I believe then you get more than 70%. Maybe you get 100% back. So this is fantastic. Now, it makes you wonder, why didn't the SEC object to this acquisition, right? Why is the SEC and Gary Gensler so against Binance.US acquiring Voyager, sorry, I can't speak this morning, and giving that back? How is it that Celsius is able to do this right away, but Voyager isn't, right? That doesn't seem very fair, right? What is Gary's problem? Don't know, right? But this is good for Celsius, so I don't know. And there's some people talked about clawbacks from Celsius. That does not look like that's what's happening right now. It looks like they are allowing people to withdraw, which is good. So overall, I think that's a win. All right. I think that's what I wanted to cover today. What is Silvergate? Oh, look at the Silvergate. It started off in the green. Now it's down another 5%. Silvergate is just dying right now. Stocks gain as 10-year yields fall below 4%. That's good. We don't want to see yields go up. When yields go up, that means people are flocking to bonds. which is not a good thing. What is Coinbase at? Coinbase is down 2%. Coinbase took a beating yesterday too. Look at this drop off. That's a huge beating, all because of Silvergate. All right, let's do some Q&A. Yeah, I gotta admit, I have not been following the Celsius drama. I know a lot of other people do, but I have not been. So that's why I have no idea what has been happening with Celsius. Let me scroll down here. Let me see. And happy Friday, by the way, to everyone. All right, let's see here. Scrolling. A lot of scrolling right now. From Hong Kong, good morning, Georgia, and everyone. Best crypto channel for crypto updates and learning. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Josh, we will see. We will see. There's no proven plan yet for Celsius. Still currently a fight to get a UCC to do the right thing, and if there's no plan, then what did I just cover here? Well, they announced it. I guess it has to be voted upon. Yearn Finance is the only one in the green, doubled recently. Your thoughts? It's not the only one in the green. But there's a lot that's in the green. I have no comments about Yearn Finance. Gala 20x from top, big opportunity. Gala is, yes, very, 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 very far away from its top. It's one of those projects that hasn't really come up. I think gaming projects in general have not really moved. You know, we've seen a lot of trends so far this year, and gaming is not one of them. They barely moved, right? So, but I do like Gala quite a lot. Yeah, if everyone is saying that nothing has been improved, Judge still has to approve everything, then there's no way that the clawback is 100% confirmed. When everything else has not been confirmed. Steven. Yeah, Steven, I might do some videos. I was thinking about it, maybe on the inside, you know, some of the stuff that's been happening, some of the things I want to share. I don't think that's going to get, you know, get crazy stalkers to come over. Although the person that came over, not to say he's a crazy stalker, I think he just overstepped. I may do that again, you know, if I get really bored. Another 52-week load today. Any opinion on AGIX? I'm still hesitant to get in, but I feel like I need AI exposure. AGIX is Singularity. I mean, there's a lot of smaller projects. I wouldn't, you know, jump in because right now it's still very early. None of these projects have any real AI features that's actually working. They're all speculations right now. Singularity does have a data marketplace, but it's just a few apps and there's no ties to ChatGPT or any of these other chat assistants that other people or these big tech giants are using or implementing. So I think there's plenty of time. Of course, there could be collaborations or partnerships in the future, but right now, I would say we had that boom with AI. Now things have fallen down, and it could be like that for a while. So, not to say that you shouldn't have any exposure, but I think there's plenty of time to get exposure. Coinbase was very smart to distance itself from Silvergate and stop using them. I mean, you have to. After what was announced yesterday, you have to, right? They're too toxic at this point, and you know Silvergate cannot really survive at this point. But I still question all these headline news about BlackRock and Soros and others investing in Silvergate recently and putting more money into their stock. Are they really that foolish like everyone else, or did they know this was coming, right? And they did it on purpose to pump the stocks so that they could sell off, right? Or there's something else going on behind the scenes. Or they're waiting for them to crash further so they can buy them out, right? I don't know. There's something really fishy. Before all this started happening, BlackRock, Soros, and others jumped in hard and bought a ton of Silvergate. That's what made me think, like, okay, maybe they have promised to come back. And then this came out. So it makes me wonder, did they know something ahead of time? And most likely, yes. Most likely, yes. They did know something ahead of time. Well, the good thing is, after this, we did not see any other, like, well, that's all combined. Yeah, it all added to about 200 million. Afterwards, nothing. So people finally learned a little bit. But that almost seemed like it was done on purpose. Jet James. People are so bearish and expect a deep recession. It makes me wonder if we'll ever have one. How many times the mainstream majority was right about the stock market? Not often. I mean, I agree with you. In December, November, December, so many came out and said, you know what, 2023 is going to be bad. Really, really bad. We will fall in a deeper recession. Has it happened? No. In fact, starting almost like clockwork in January, we started heading upwards, right? And economic data is showing that the economy is still strong. And I'm talking about U.S. The economy is still strong. Labor force is still very strong. Consumer spending of those soften, still strong. In fact, Q4 earnings for most of these retail big box companies have been very strong. They all beated expectations. So this deep recession that people were theorizing doesn't seem like it's coming. And there are still a lot of money on the sidelines waiting to come back in. Housing isn't crashing. I mean, there's no data that supports we're going deeper in a recession. We're already in recession, but to go into a deeper recession, there's no indications of that. But of course, we can't forgive what the governments are doing. You know, they're still very irresponsible, right? That hasn't gone away, but that only helps Bitcoin's case. CL Jacob, I appreciate that. I don't think we're going to see a forerunner in 2024. Maybe 2025, I think. Thoughts on ApeCoin? I still think Yuga is one of the premier NFT projects, right? So they'll find some use for ApeCoin. Right now, there's not a whole lot of use case for ApeCoin. They're still concentrating on NFTs, but they need to do something. Like when they come out their metaverse, right? That's what I'm waiting for. When they come out their metaverse, have real utility for ApeCoin, that's when they'll start doing better. Don't you think there was very little pain compared to the money printed and what happened in 2020, 2022? You mean now or 2020 to 2022? I mean, 2020 was supposed to be a very painful year, but it wasn't because the money printers started turning on. 2022 was pretty painful. I would say 2022 is almost as painful as, 2008. From an investment standpoint, yeah, it was. But from a recession standpoint, no. Like, we didn't have unemployment go up like crazy, stuff like that. But tech stocks definitely sold off as much as the last recession. But I get what you're saying. It's not $15 for eggs, okay? Flash Gordon, I get eggs are higher, but it's not $15. It's back down to like $2. But it's still higher than previous $1. Man, Silvergate cannot catch a break. Hey, yes, Coinbase turned green. So, Silvergate and Coinbase starting to do this, right? No, one is going down. I want to see Coinbase recover. And then Tesla is recovering. Tesla had a horrible day yesterday, too. How about do one big live stream on your car channel once a month just to see? Maybe have some guests on. Well, what guests? I don't know of anyone. You know, the frustrating thing is, like, the more people I talk to, the more I realize majority of people, or guys, are not car people. And that is a surprise and frustrating for me, because I love to talk to people about cars, but majority of people are not car people. They're just like, okay, I want something that drives me A to B. That's it. You know, they're not really car people. And majority of people out there are still not crypto people too. So you want to talk crypto, you want to talk shop. Basically, no one wants to talk. So that's actually very disappointing. The 40th anniversary Forerunner, that stripe, you know, honestly bothers me. I'm not sold on that weird 3-color stripe. I would just get a TRD Pro. Just get like a couple used, like couple year used Forerunner. I mean, couple years used TRD Pro, like a 2021, because there has been no changes other than the colors. The interior features are exactly the same. I bought Silvergate at open because I thought it had a pretty small market cap. I thought there would be a short squeeze. There was a roller coaster down again. Yeah, that's Wall Street faking you out. Because this morning Silvergate started out in the green, and then now it's just dumping and dumping and dumping. They are done. They will be dumped. They will be closing. They will stop trading on Silvergate pretty soon. Is it lonely at the top true? Not really, no. Because I'm not, you know, it's like there's different levels of tops, okay? Once you become a 1%er, then you realize 1%er is nothing compared to people, uh, you know, like the gap. Okay, let's just do it this way. You know how there's like, you have the lower class, middle class, upper class, right? But upper class, the differences between the lower end of upper class and the higher end of upper class is so vast that, you know, it's mind-boggling, right? Like, so for me, like my lifestyle has not really changed all that much. Yes, I buy a few more things. Yes, when I travel, you know, I take first class now, right? Things like that. But I don't have a fancy yacht. I don't have a private plane. I don't have security guards or bodyguards following me around, right? That's what you get to another level of upper class. I mean, the upper class is separated. Uh, um, I mean, it's just such a wide gap. So, um, so until you get to like the upper echelon of the upper class, then I think it gets very lonely. But right now, no, I'm nowhere close to that. Car people are dying breed because of these stupid EVs. I guess that's kind of true. But still, if you're a car person, you're not going to be interested in EVs. You know, it's just not the same. It's not the same. You don't get the same sound, the same smells, the same, you know, emotional attachment. With EVs, it's like driving a robot. That's all it really is. It's a robot. It's very fast, but there's no emotional attachment to it. Jack, which blockchain will government use to track cargo? I don't know. There's a few out there, like Morpheus does that, VeChain does that. I don't know if governments really care about tracking cargo on the blockchain. Maybe eventually. but that's the least of their concerns right now. Bad Sunshine, Model Y. A lot of people want Model Ys, but I see them way too often now. They're good. In terms of EV SUV, they're probably the best. But I don't know. There's still a lot of improvements that can make it better. Lower upper class is closer to lower class than upper level upper class. I would say that's true. That's true. How about the person that drove off the cliff to kill his family and they all lived? Yeah, that was amazing. I don't think anyone else, any other car, I should say, would have done better. I think one of the things that people don't realize about the Model Y is how safe it is. It has 5-star rating all sides, every angle, and the fact that that guy drove off a cliff, it was like a 150-foot fall or something like that, and they all survived. It's amazing. It's an amazing testament to how well the Model Y is built and how safe it is. But still, it could be better. It could be better. You need a Hellcat in your life. I wouldn't mind a Hellcat. Just got my Bronco. Love my Bronco. Wasn't even a market. Hopefully, David, you didn't overpay, because every Bronco I've been looking at is still way above MSRP. Yeah, U.S. market is like, not really moving. Chemistry. Coming off bottom, like a 300% gain, sounds amazing. But when it's still down 90%, that puts things into perspective. Any opinion on QuickSwap? They're the biggest swap for Polygon. I mean, here's the thing with all swaps or all DEXs. I'm just not very excited about them. They're very useful. I use DEXs all the time. But will I buy their governance token? No. I don't think they do much. But they're great to use. But I'm not very excited about any of them. I have a nice octane red Hellcat blacked out. Which one? Is it the Charger? Charger or Challenger? Aren't they both Hellcats? And then they have the Durango. I have driven the SRT Durango, not the Hellcat one. I haven't driven any Hellcats, but I remember the SRT Durango was very fun. Very fun. SG, yeah, I already have it. It's not on order. I have it. It's covered up in my garage right now. Do I believe in Bigfoot? No, I don't. But I believe in aliens. I believe there are aliens. Whether or not we have ever seen one before, whether or not they have visited Earth, I don't know about that. But I believe there are aliens for sure, 100%. Somewhere in the universe, because the universe is just way too big not to have other intelligent life out there. Keep it simple, then you're not really a car guy. Don't pretend like you are. There's no car guy that would say, oh yeah, I didn't get excited until EVs came out. That's just totally, utterly BS. You're not a car guy. There's not one person that gets excited about a Tesla or any EV. No one. No one. And people that are excited, they're just drawn to the brand. Because a lot of people buy Tesla thinking that they're the best luxury brand now. That's simply it. There's no car enthusiast saying, yeah, I'm going to get a Plaid because it's the best. It's the best. It's fast, but if you drive one, you'll realize that's all it is. It's just fast. There's zero emotional attachment to it. Zero. It does not make you feel alive driving it. It does not make you feel like it's fun. It doesn't do well around curves. It doesn't do so many things well. So you're lying. You're not a car person. You just want a fast or a car that gets you from point A to point B. Trust me. Like I own Teslas. I've owned Plaid. I still have a Model X Plaid. I traded off because I can't drive in the winter. So I have a Mercedes as my my winter car. So I'll probably switch back. I mean, I had the S Plaid, and then I got rid of it for an X Plaid. S Plaid, I'll tell you, S Plaid. Why you see so many being sold is because everyone gets it thinking it's going to be the greatest car on earth because it's so fast, 0 to 60 under 2 seconds. And then you drive for a while and you realize you never really floored. And when you do, you get a headache from it. So then it just makes you think, well, why do I have this car? So that's why you see, go on cars.com or Auto Trader, look for S Plaids. There's a ton of them being sold. And most of them are actually quite cheap. Well, quite cheap compared to the new price. But resale value on them are not good either. And that's because most people that could afford it, get it, think it's going to be the greatest car ever. And then after 6 months, they're like, yeah, I need something else. And that's exactly what happened to me. That's why I traded for an X Plaid. An X Plaid is a lot more practical than an S because it's SUV and it's bigger. You know, that's my take on it. People won't get it until they actually get the car, and then they'll know what I'm talking about. I'm on Matic Rabbit Hole. What are the chances it hits $2 end of month? I would say, I don't know. I was going to say very little chance, but, you know, if Bitcoin comes back, you know, if something like this happens where this is just a giant bear trap and Bitcoin pumps up to 30,000 by the end of the month, can Matic hit $2 by the end of the month? If that happens, yes. Yes. But if the market stays stagnant like right now, then obviously no. Honest opinion on a new Civic Type R style versus the 2021. I hate it. In pictures, I agree with you. The older style looks a lot more aggressive. The newer style, this is what Honda did. Honda's basically made a Type R so it's more livable for older people. Because if you're a professional and you're above 30 years old, you're not going to drive the 2021 Type R around. you're not going to drive that to work and everywhere because you're going to feel out of place. If you're in your 20s, then yeah, it's fine. But if you're in your 30s, especially mid-30s, 40s, you will not be driving the Type R around, especially because of that huge wing and how it looks. With the new one, it's toned down so that if you are in your late 30s or mid-30s or 40s, I could see some people driving that around. I think that's the thing. Honda toned it down to make it so that it's more appealing for older generation. But the performance should be better. So if you actually care about performance, then it's a better choice. Edward, any opinion on Quant? Quant is not for me. It's a B2B play. It's not meant for consumers. It's to help businesses get involved with blockchain and dApps. Helps them create dApps that could talk to multiple chains. So they're B2B, business to business, not really meant for retail investors. Although you could invest in them, but they just operate differently. I saw a tweet saying that ETH is going to 0. If that's the case, I'm buying a ton. I don't know who was saying that, but it's not going to happen. Yeah, I don't see that happening anytime soon or ever. D.I. Jones or D. Jones, only muscle cars have been in car business for 19 years. I agree with you. I love muscle cars. One day I'd love to get a 69 Camaro and drive that around, but I don't have time for that right now. See, on Fridays, I like to have casual chat, like to have car chat. I know a lot of crypto guys get furious when I talk about cars, but I enjoy it, you know? So I wouldn't mind having a live chat on my drivers only channel. So maybe I'll just do that from now on. Maybe like pick a day, you know, Friday nights or something when I'm not streaming on CryptosRUs. I'll do a Friday night car chat on drivers only. You know, and hopefully something like that can happen. I think I would enjoy that. Would you recommend a Toyota Highlander? At this point in time, no, because there's much better midsize SUVs, including the new Pilot. The new Pilot's amazing. You should go drive a new Pilot. It's hard to find them, but new Honda Pilot's really amazing. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. Next time I do want to have a car chat, I'll make a post on YouTube and tweet it out, and we'll talk more cars. But in the meantime, today, you know, Bitcoin is still flat from what happened yesterday. 200 million liquidated. Silvergate is still dumping. You know, was it really Silvergate? Was it MtGox? We don't know. We don't know, right? But this does not mean that's necessarily bad, because last few times that leverage was wiped out, we actually went on pretty good runs. So, and we're still following what happened in 2019. So these are good things, and overall, stay strong, my friends. Smash it, like, subscribe to the channel. No live stream tonight. Tomorrow, I'll see you guys bright and early at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.